Hi guys, my name is Nolima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about the conflict matrix. Why are we doing this? Because Thokoza Sitwala versus Zandile Khumalo versus Longwetwala versus Tumelo Madlala, they are giving us a picture of something and we actually want to go through it. That is why I'm calling it conflict matrix. We are going to dive into that. Before we do that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed with the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you'll be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Now, the Suzume trial is something else, guys. A lot happens there. A lot happens there. This is where the case actually breaks. Not in confessions, not in cell phone data, but in four people who were in the same house and cannot agree on reality. So here in this video, we are going to deal with a direct side-by-side conflict map showing exactly where Thokoza Sitwala collides with Zandile Khumalo. And where Longwetwala and Tumelo also collide, and why these contradictions are fatal to narrative certainty. Okay, number one, who was physically involved in the scuffle? Who attacked the intruder? According to Twala, Zandile and her mother with Tumelo's crutches. Twala's role, he says he was not involved. Okay, and then the collision point, everyone agrees the kitchen became violent, except Twala, who surgically removes himself. What is the legal impact when it comes to that? Courts treat self-extraction from violence as a credibility red flag. Either he's minimizing involvement or memory is curated. Second thing, the firearm. What was seen versus what is denied. Number of guns, let's start there. One gun only, according to Twala. Uzandile, one gun. Umadlala, one gun. Ulongwe, one gun. Okay? And then ability to describe the gun. Utwala claims he can't. Name. And then Uzandile gives general description. And then Umadlala describe a gun presence, and then Ulongwe acknowledge the gun. He acknowledges the gun. Okay, and then gun movement. Utwala uti pushed by Longwe. Uzandile chaos around the gun, and then Umadlala gun in scuffle. Ulongwe gunman pushed. All right. Okay. Now, collision point. Twala denies firearm knowledge only when tested, despite earlier descriptive detail in his statements when he was speaking with the artist who was doing drawings. And the legal impact, this creates selective amnesia, which courts associate with statements, coaching, or fear exposure. Okay, let's go to Longwe. Longwetwala, hero, coward, or key actor. Longwe's action. Utwala pushes gunman and runs out. That's what he says Longwe did. And then Uzandile confirms the push. Umadlala confirms the push. Ulongwe himself confirms the escape. And then who stops him? Nobody according to Twala, nobody according to Zandile, nobody according to Madlala, nobody according to Longwe. What does this mean? Everyone is protecting Longwe, including himself. Okay. Follow up after, no pursuit according to Twala. Uzandile shock, Umadlala shock, Ulongwe flees. Okay, let's look at a collision point when it comes to this. This is the only point of harmony, and it raises a darker question. Why does everyone agree Longwe fled, but nobody treats it as suspicious? No one does that. kwaba bantu babesendlini. Legal impact, uniform silence can signal collective normalization, not innocence. Okay? Number 4, the route before the shooting. Let's deal with the timeline fracture. Party attendance, uThwala uthi he says never went to a party. Uzandile says they were going. They went to a party. They were going to a party. Umadlala supports Zandile. Ulongwe supports Zandile. Okay, this Roy what party, and then stops made. uThwala uthi Wimpy, and then Soweto uthi uZandile party route, and then uMadlala party route, and then Ulongwe party route. Do you see what this looks like for Thwala? And then let's deal with the collision point also. 3 aligned, 1 refuses. Thwala again. Do you understand? And legal impact. When one witness diverges alone, courts ask, is he remembering or correcting a narrative? Riambona, he's not to be trusted. Number 5, language and identification of intruders. Language heard, English commands and Zulu Sotho. And then uZandile general demands. See, she speaks about general demands, cell phone nemali. Umadlala chaos and shouting. Ulongwe limited to recollection. And then identification basis, inference was drawn by Thwala. uZandile, she shows stress memory. Umadlala stress memory. Ulongwe poor recall. And also when it comes to uZandile no Madlala, they are the ones that pointed at Ntanzi in the courtroom. But when they spoke to the artist, what was her name? I forgot now. I forgot her name. But they couldn't give these details. Anyway, now what is the collision point? Because we are dealing with uThwala here. Thwala extrapolates identity from fragments. Legal impact, inference is not observation. This weakness, positive identification reliability. This weakens the positive identification reliability. Number 6, one nuclear issue police conduct after the fact. This is for case 375 because he's talking about the people that assaulted him as Joyce, or who were part of, who fetched him from KZN. This is Thwala. He was fetched by Joyce Buthelezi and Meshach Maphubo, who are police officers, and investigated case 375. And he includes this here. Maybe he was trying to weaken their case. I don't know. Alleged torture. Yes, he detailed what happened to him. And then others, they did not talk about any torture, which is uZandi, uTumelo, Ulongwe. And then he spoke about the IPIT report, abanye none of that. Statements cohesion, yes, that's what uThwala says, abanye no. Collision point, this isolates Thwala, but not in a way that helps the state. Legal impact, even if unproven, one torture allegation contaminates all statements, especially from a witness central to the narrative. Now, what is this matrix proof? Let's get into that. The witnesses align. 2 intruders, 1 firearm, chaos, Longwe fled. And where the case structures, who participated in violence, who can describe the gun, where they went before the shooting, how evidence was later obtained. Now, all of those things, they bring you into a situation where you are like, something is very questionable here. Okay? Something is very questionable here. This is not for independent witnesses. This is one shared event producing 4 incompatible realities. And when that happens, courts do not ask who is lying. They ask, is this case safe enough to convict? Twala doesn't just clash with Zandile, Longwe, and Madlala. He exposes that no single uncontaminated narrative exists inside that house. And I don't think he realized that. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to that? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.